Second day of the year. We all made it. I am super thankful for each and every one of you. I don't know if I say that enough, but I want you to know that I'm super thankful for you all. And we made it. If you are, I don't think there's anybody that's new, but maybe if you're watching the replay and you're new to us, I saw some people on Instagram that may be joining, that may be hopping over. We are a community of like-minded professionals. We meet every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are committed to doing four things that start with an E: to expose ourselves to education that will equip us to be empowered. The four E's. We're taking that all the way through for 2024, exposing ourselves to education that equips us to be empowered. Because we got to take it all in our own hands. We know it, right? We know it. We know we got to take this thing called life, our careers. It's up to us. It's up to us, y'all. It's up to us. I don't know if you heard my podcast. If you're on the email list, I did a podcast. I don't know if it was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. And I talked about, doing things for us. And the word for 2024 for myself is just executing and implementing. I think we're in an age of information. We got enough information to last us, right? From now on. But it's time to take action. It's time to execute. It's time to implement. It's enough information. There's something called monk mode. Have y'all heard of monk mode? That's when you just shut everything down. You shut everything down and you just get laser hyper focused on whatever that thing is that you want to pursue. There was something I put into my spirit, I put into my mind, I'm like, I'm going to do this in the next 90 days. I'm going to do this. I don't know if it was Monday or Sunday, whatever day it was. I didn't talk to my daughter. I didn't get on social media. I got the thing that I thought it was going to take me 90 days, y'all. This is no joke. I got it done. I was talking to myself. I'm like, oh, wow. Just a little focus. It's amazing what you can get done. Just a little focus. What's up, Tibia? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So I challenge you. I'm challenging you in 2024 to execute. We can sit around and watch the webinars and do the trainings and take the courses and take the certifications and get more education and get more knowledge but if we don't move that thing and implement on it, it doesn't matter. We can get all the notes and all the knowledge and all the brains and all the things, but if we do not execute, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. That's our goal, okay? That's going to be our focus. Sean said, I feel that. I've been so scattered lately that monk mode sound. Yeah, that sounds good. Google it. And there's some good YouTube videos on monk mode. I can't remember. I think it was this guy named Iman. He's a young guy out in Dubai. And I actually learned it from him. And he showed when he went in monk mode, it was probably for like a year or two. But I felt that. And I'm like, you know what? That works. It really works. Out of that, because I did it, remember the first part of last year, I wasn't even online. I wasn't doing anything, but a lot of things I was just thinking about and considering. And I was just tired of information. I'm like, you know what? Something has to change. And you know what had to change? It was me. It was me, right? Even when I'm frustrated or overwhelmed and I can't figure things out and I don't understand and this should be happening right now and it's not happening soon enough. It's not happening fast enough. And the whole time it was me. The whole time it was me. What I learned through that is that you have to become the person first. Whatever it is that you want, and I'm sharing this and we're going to get into our topic tonight, but whatever it is that you want, since it's the top of the year, you have to become the person first. I'm telling you this because I've experienced this. I wonder why certain things weren't happening. I think I told y'all about this. Certain things weren't happening. And like Sean, I appreciate you, Sean, for just being so transparent and so vulnerable. And she said, I feel scattered. I love that only because she just putting it out there. And honest, and sometimes y'all, we ain't even honest with ourselves. And sometimes y'all, we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what? It's me. Everything is a process. I don't give a darn what it is. Everything is a process. There's a hiring process. There's a process to go and get your license. There's a process when you want to go fishing. When Robin went on her trip, she had to go through the process of getting the tickets and packing the thing and traveling here and getting on the boat and showing her ticket. Everything is a process. So if you think that you didn't got all these years of experience in working and now you're mad and the place is toxic and I'm ready to go and I don't make enough money and this is just gonna happen, it don't work like that. Because it didn't take you that long to get there or feel that way. Everything in your life is a process. Everything is a process. Y'all with me? What's up, Jay Rich? I am a monk. You a monk? I'm feeling that now. I'm feeling that. I'm in that mindset in the monk mode. So what came out of that for me, and I don't really talk about my business much, but I will share since it's the top of the year. Sometimes I sprinkle it in as we're going through the months and through the year, but just elevating the business and really dialing in what it is that I want people to get out of the business. And one of the things is, as we are in a society of everything being fast, I know that people want immediate results. So how can I get them immediate results, knowing, like I just said, that it's still going to be a process? So level setting expectations on the front end. And one of the things we've added, and I know some of you are in the program and some of you we just launched, so you may have not taken this part, but we're now getting interviews for people, right, within a 45-day time frame, and I'm excited about it. We used to work with people, now we're doing it for you. So that's something we've added on, but there is, one of the things that I've also learned is who I like to work with and who I want to work with. Just like what job you like to, what employer you want to work with. You know the type of environment you want to work in. You've worked in different types of industries, and I don't really like technology like that. I know everybody want to work in tech, but I don't like tech like that. Right? You know who you want to work, what industry you want to work in. You know the type of work you want to do. I know the client that I want to work with. So that's one of the things that we've changed. I'm excited about that. I know that there are people that may be looking at me now, maybe watching the replay, that this is a priority for 2024 for you to make some type of move. You're at the point now where it's time. And for some, it's not a priority right now. For some, is not urgent right now. But if that's you and you're watching, you can go to iamkellyjackson.com with an I and schedule a consultation, and we can map out a plan together, right? Don't worry, we're going to collaborate on this together. And we all kind of know that there's two types of people in the world. There's those that will allow their employers to, help them with the future. And then there's those that will take accountability and responsibility for their future. So I wanted to share that with you. But I also want to jump into our topic tonight, which is recruiting playbook. And I wanted you all to see, where's my notes? I wanted you all to see from the perspective of a recruiter what's happening now in the recruiting landscape. So I want you to put on your recruiting hats. You are now deputized as recruiters. Put on your recruiting hats, and I want you to look at what we're going to share tonight through a recruiter's lens. So I'm going to share with you a summit that happened back in October through LinkedIn. I used to go every year. I think the last time I went to, it's called Talent Connect. I think it was 2018. This year it happened in October of 2023. And I want to share with you what was told to a room full of recruiters, a room full of HR and talent acquisition specialists. Talent acquisitions specialists. And I want you to think about what they're being told and how they are now doing their jobs. Because just like when we talk and we go through the things that are changing in AI and the hiring process and interviewing and a relevancy score and behavioral interviewing and all those things, recruiting is also changing. So tonight, I want you to think about you being a recruiter, and I want you to take it in and take away some of the things that you may consider either changing, or now that you're knowledgeable on how they're now working, it may help you. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a listen This is Ryan. He is the CEO of LinkedIn. This is a part of his keynote for Talent Connect. Again, this is a room full of HR and talent professionals. It happens every year. And I'm going to share a piece of it. This is about 30 minutes, but I'm going to share just a piece of it. All right, we okay? All right, I'm going to share my screen here as soon as we can. And let's get this party started, people. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's take a listen to Ryan. Make sure y'all can see it. Happy New Year, LaShawn. I see you. I see you. Here we go, y'all.
Old playbooks will not work in this new world of work. They won't. They did before, for decades, in fact. It wasn't long ago when someone would pick a job, they'd pick a company, and then for the most part, spend their career rising up as far as they could. Often they would switch where they worked. Rarely, if ever, would they switch what they did. This latter mindset was anchored by two truths. First, stability is what people craved most. Second, that people could come into a job with an education that set them up to succeed across their entire career. For talent professionals, that meant you could build playbooks around stability. You could copy and paste job descriptions over years because the needs for the job weren't changing constantly. You could also assume that degrees and past job titles were really, really good signals of potential in an applicant because degrees signaled durable expertise, and companies were all thinking about jobs in the same way. That was the old playbook, and it worked for decades. It will not work in the new world of work. Adapting to a new world of work and acquiring new skills is going to be the key, and it really starts with all of us in this room. We all used to see career paths as linear. But even if we are not changing jobs, our jobs are changing on us. If you take the same role on LinkedIn and you go back 8 years ago, the average LinkedIn member has seen the skills needed for their job change by 25% over the past 8 years. And AI is going to meaningfully accelerate the pace of that change. That number is expected to reach at least 65% by 2030. So that first truth that anchored in the old playbooks around stability, no, it's not something that we can rely on moving forward. And that second truth, the idea that old playbooks were anchored around degrees that last for decades, AI is going to make it virtually impossible for a one-off moment of learning to last an entire career. For example, and I'm hoping there's more hands on this one, raise your...
We're going to stop it there, and you can always go back and look at this. But did we hear what he said? Again, this is the CEO of LinkedIn talking to a group of talent acquisition professionals. And we're calling this a playbook. He kicked it off, and he said, the old playbook will not work. He's talking to recruiters, and he's saying, listen, what we looked for in the past is not going to work in the future. And he anchored it with two things. He said the first is stability. How many of us look for stability? How many of us already know that's been out the window? How many of us know that when we're looking for, or we're thinking about making a career transition or doing something different, the reason why we don't move is because our mindset is focused on, I want something stable. Now, the number one platform for corporate professionals in the world, not the nation, not the US, in the world, there's 1 billion people on there. The CEO just came out and said, there's a new playbook. And he's talking to recruiters. He said, you got to change it up. Stability is not a thing. So when you're talking to candidates, when you're talking to prospective candidates or applicants, thinking about stability, or those that are motivated by a stable environment, is the old way of thinking. He said that's the first anchor. The second anchor, he talked about education. Did y'all hear that? He said this is a one-off moment of learning. I had to pause when he said that. He said it's a one-off moment of learning. And you're going to see throughout tonight, there is a theme, and I want to see if you catch it, about what the future looks like for the hiring process and those that are in a position to transition or elevate where they are currently. But he's anchoring this old playbook or this new playbook by two things that were a staple in the past: stability and education. Now, when it comes to stability, just like I mentioned, this is something, especially those that are 50 years of age and older, or even 40, I will say, because that's what we were taught. And it's not a right or wrong, it's just that's what we know when we're looking for stability. And some of you I work with, I'm so proud of, come to me and say, I already know that. I already know that's not a thing. So if he's telling recruiters this, and this is what I want you to catch, what should we be thinking about? What should our motivation be? What should we want to pursue when it comes to our careers? Because this is a platform where companies go for insights and for information and for education on what's happening in the industries, in the marketplace, what's happening right now when it comes to the workforce. What are you seeing? What are people applying for? What are people thinking about? How many moves are they're making? What are the demographics? This is where they go. So if in 2024, this is something you've been thinking about, high level, if you've been in this community, this is something you're going to hear later on today. You're going to say, you know what? Kelly been telling us that for years. And they're just now making it public. But I've been telling those in here, and you're going to hear it, some of the other things that they're telling recruiters now for the future. The second anchor, when you talk about education, and I know this is a touchy subject for a lot of people because our minds automatically go, let me get the certification. Let me get the advanced degree. Let me go back and do some more studying. Let me go and get more knowledge. Let me go get more information. And for the past decades, when I'm working with hiring managers and decision makers, and I'm convincing some of the conservative, traditional hiring managers that is no longer about Ivy League colleges, or they determine who they want to speak to based off of the type of degree they have. What was the concentration in? And I know that it makes people like us, when we apply, we think real heavily on that because we know we get scrutinized by that. So I get it and I understand that. But what I want for you all is to be forward thinkers and be ahead of even those that are conservative and traditional, because they're going to be obsolete really soon. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with education, but you just heard what he said. Those anchors are the old playbook. So on the one side, on the one hand, I'm talking to hiring managers and decision makers and saying, we cannot judge this candidate or this applicant or this person that's internal because they don't have the Ivy League, or they didn't get the advanced degree, or they didn't have a concentration in this. We can't do that. And then on the flip side, when I'm talking to candidates and they're saying, well, I have this and I should make this because I have this advanced degree and I went for this and I studied in this. And so because of that, I should be making this. If you start to think about this now so that it becomes permanent in your mind and you're not thinking about, do I need to put this on my resume? Sheila's so smart. When she and I was talking, she's not thinking about title. And you guys are going to see that she's way ahead of the game. She's way ahead of the game. This is what I want for everybody. It's no longer about the titles, y'all. It's all about the skills. And you're going to see it. And I'm not saying don't get an education. Everybody should be educated. You don't want to run around not knowing anything and being ignorant. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't want you to be so focused to think this is what's going to get me ahead. And I don't want you to look for something that's where I can be stable. There's no such thing. What you can do, what I said at the very top of this, is become the person first. Position yourself first. I put this on Threads today or yesterday. Position yourself first. You become stable. Forget about the employers. You become stable and confident in what you know and what you do. Everything else will come to you. This is important for 2024. This is important, y'all. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to move on. It has nothing to do with our topic, but racism and all of and the discrimination and all of that, don't have to worry about that now. What you think about now is classism. That's a whole nother topic. But there will be the haves and there will be the have-nots. And you have to decide, it's that important and I'm that passionate about it that I'm bringing it to you now. And I've been talking about this for years. What you're going to hear tonight, these people are saying just now publicly. They're telling you now what people are going to be looking for, what employers are going to be doing. And we all know the US follows people. They follow China. So companies follow other companies. Companies want to do what their competition is doing. They want to be better than their competition. So if their competition is doing a hiring process like this, they're going to adopt that same mindset. And at the very beginning, I said this year should be about execution and implementation. Execute on this, y'all. Don't sit back and wait. You either going to have or you're not. I'm going to show you some case studies at the end of this. Let's keep going. I want you to listen to this lady here. And if you've heard this before from me, drop it in the chat so people don't think I'm crazy and I'm just boasting on myself. If you heard this before, because the goal here in this community is to keep everyone ahead, to keep us ahead.
So the old bet was that hiring someone into a job track would put them on a ladder or an escalator that they would want to be on, that they would stay on, and that they would pursue as far as they could. In exchange, workers would get promotions, benefits, a 401k, perhaps a corner office, status markers. This is the old bargain, and it's a big reason why the ladder worked. But today, what we're seeing is the ladder is breaking. It's breaking thanks to corporate policy and technology and talent itself. Over the past few decades, not just the past few years, over the past few decades, employers on the whole have increasingly been shredding the social contract at work. Around the world, job stability and security are crumbling. Trust and loyalty are fragile. Talent, especially young people, sees this. And they see that there's less that's worth staying for. Technology is accelerating this trend. Everything that I'm describing was already well underway before generative AI hit. And more, talent simply doesn't want to be on a ladder, at least not a ladder that someone else built. They want to design new career models that are fit for themselves and their goals and for a future, including a future of work that is in flux. Now, this ladder breaking is global. You might hear about it more in the US, but I can assure you it's taking root practically everywhere, except for perhaps Japan and Korea. This ladder breaking is multi-generational. It doesn't discriminate based on age or rung of the ladder. And this ladder breaking has profound implications for equity and sustainability. So there's a kind of backlash against this old ladder model. It's not that talent doesn't want to advance. It's that they don't want to do so at one organization or on a ladder that someone else built. So our question becomes, what is the new shape, the new language for careers beyond the ladder? If it's not a ladder or a staircase or an escalator, then what is it? I'd like to offer that it is a portfolio. And the future of work is the era of career portfolios. Let me briefly explain why. Now, there are many different kinds of portfolios. An artist's portfolio contains the work she's most proud of. Investors design portfolios to mitigate risk and maximize returns. Executives use portfolio theory to craft strategies that balance the future with the present. Managers use portfolios to stay organized. A lot of young people have websites with their web portfolios. So feel free to remix these however you wish. My point is simply, portfolios offer a kind of flexibility and future readiness that ladders simply do not. Now, your portfolio, or anyone's portfolio, is your unique combination of everything you can do that adds value to society. It is so much more than your resume, because the truth is your resume reflects a fraction of who you are and what you can do. What's more, everyone has a portfolio, whether or not you've ever had a paid job or you're credentialed. Everyone has a portfolio, which means everyone can participate and benefit from this approach. So let's look at how a portfolio helps you see skills and talent acquisition differently in ways that just might help you forge a more equitable, sustainable future of work. So first, skills. Now, resumes are still a thing, but we know that the traditional ladderist resume is incomplete. It's incomplete because it doesn't allow for a bunch of your most valuable, important skills. We finally have figured out a way to include career breaks and side hustles, but we still haven't found a way to integrate broader life experiences. For example, refugees and people at the margin often have a grit and resilience that an Ivy League degree will never deliver. Parenting skills. Who here is a parent? Parenting skills are super skills for time management, conflict negotiation, empathy. Right? In my case, I lost both of my parents when I was young. So I'm really good at holding space for grief and loss. These are the kinds of fluxy skills we want to identify and cultivate. A ladder doesn't have space for them. A portfolio does.
What we think about that, y'all? Have we heard that before? Have we heard that before? Talk to me. Have we heard that before? Jackie said we've heard this before. Have we heard? How long ago have we talked about portfolios, y'all? Have we heard this before? Y'all notice the new terms? When she talks about fluxy, she's talking about mindset. Earlier in this presentation, she talked about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Now they're talking about a fluxed mindset. And often, you know, early on when we would have conversations about transitioning and I'm asking, well, what do you do? And what are some of the things that you do, even in your spare time? Those skill sets matter, y'all. The reason why you've heard me talk so much now lately, probably in the last quarter, I've been talking about sharing your value, communicating your value. I wrote down all the time she mentioned value. She said value to society, valuable skill sets. Because you have to be able to communicate. When she shared, you know, I hold space now for people that are dealing with grief and loss. And she talked about the parent who has time management. These are the things, you all. And I know some of you even say, how do I convey this, all this knowledge that it's hard to put it on a piece of paper, especially for all of us with years and years of experience. Y'all with me? Yeah, it is, Sean. It is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And so, again, this is a conversation that they're having with recruiters, with talent acquisition professionals. And so, if I was on the other side, I would be thinking about, okay, this is what they're going to be looking for now. The beauty of this and the reason why I'm so ahead of the game, and again, not to pat myself on the back or anything, is something I learned when I was at Bank of America. I think I was there for like 3 months as a contractor in recruiting. What I learned from them, and you have to go through onboarding with them, is something that they adopted. And I think I shared this story before, from Walt Disney. And the recruiters there, I don't know if they still do this, but I never forgot it. They adopted the best practice of screening candidates, or assessing, that's a better word, assessing candidates for their motivation, and not to dive so deep into their resume. And I carried that with me wherever I went. And I had a battle. The reason why I could talk about conflicts with hiring managers and decision makers is because that stayed with me, because it made sense to me. It was logical to me, because you can have all the skills and the knowledge and have all of the certification, but if you ain't motivated to do it don't matter. But you can get someone else to just come in that's motivated and wants to learn and really will put their all into it. That's the person you want to hire. So when you're in conversations with your leadership team, and I know performance reviews are coming, or you may be searching externally this year, these are the things that you want to be able to convey when you're speaking with a decision maker. And some of them that were in this summit, this is what they'll be looking for. The skills and knowledge and how you do the critical, like Sean was saying, the soft skills, right? That makes sense, y'all? Clifford said, I just went through an assessment for a position I applied for. They will be assessing it. Sheila said, wow, yes, you described the portfolio in 20. Exactly. I want us to be ahead of it. We have to be, y'all. It is not even a me thing. That's it. We have to be ahead of the game. And it only comes, like I said earlier, it's not the fun stuff. It's not the sexy stuff. It's the boring stuff where research comes in. The only way I can be confident up here and tell you all that I've been saying this, or this is what's going to happen, because I do the work. And for you all, and I know I have clients, I've been bugging them, and it's because I want to get it right. And I not only look for fixing the resume, I can do that with my eyes closed, but I want there to be a demand for what you want to do, because I want you around later. I don't want you looking for work again in 60, 90, 120 days. What's the point of all of that? Right? We want to do the work on the front end. Do what it takes on the front end so you can set yourself up sweet on the back end. That's what life is about. Learning and figuring stuff out and being content and learning skills. And now we at a point now where, you know what? I don't know, all of that was good, but I'm not sure what I want to do right now. A lot of what all of us have been through have been training for now. For those that say, well, I'm afraid of age discrimination, and am I too old, and I don't know if I can do it, and this tech stuff is a little scary. All of the experiences in that you've had, all the employers and all the work that you've done in the past is for now. Now is the time to live and go after what you want. Now is the time, y'all. I'm going to play one more, and then we're going to look at some case studies, if we got some time, of 4 companies that are implementing this from LinkedIn. And this is what I mean. They look at each other and then they start to implement it. So this is going to trickle down. We are ahead of the curve right now, but the window is going to close. So if there's something that you need to do and make a move on, the time is now. This year is about executing. This is the last one. We're going to look at this one, okay, you all, and then we'll look at a few companies, and then we'll wrap up, okay? Again, we're talking about the recruiting playbook. Ryan, the CEO of LinkedIn, mentioned it early on, the old playbook and the new playbook. He's talking to recruiters. Let's see this one. Make sure y'all can see it.
So what does this mean for our recruiters? Well, at Pfizer, it means that our recruiters are not just focused on somebody's previous work experience or their technical skills. Yes, we still care about that, but we equally care about the leadership traits that they're going to possess in this company. Are they curious? Are they resilient? Have they been able to take thoughtful risks? Have they tried something that didn't go according to plan, and what did they learn from it? Now, none of this is new. I'm sure you all are thinking about the same thing when you speak to candidates. We know that technical skills are constantly evolving. And so by definition, they're temporary. But what is more long lasting are people's agility, their ability to grow, their ability to learn. And so those are the things that we try to focus on when we go through our process at Pfizer. As much as I'm talking about our external candidates and the hiring that we do, what I know for sure is we have many internal colleagues who already demonstrate this leadership profile. And I want to just spend a few minutes giving you an example of something I'm incredibly proud of an example of our production site in Vizag, India. Now, I'm not sure if anybody...
Okay, yeah, she's talking about hiring women in India. And again, you can check this out if you want to watch the full. All of these are really, 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 really good. I highly, highly encourage. And of course, I'll leave the links for you all to check these out. But she mentioned that technical skills aren't long lasting. And I think I was having a conversation with a client and we were talking about the shelf life of work, where people work at. And it's 2.5 years. So that she just said the technical skills don't last. But like Sean was saying, the soft skills are what lasts, you all. This is what you want to get across more than anything. Because you won't be invited in for an interview, or you won't be invited into a conversation if they don't think you have the skills. They won't even bother. The goal, and what I want us to really think about, because you'll be way ahead of the game, if you can focus on the soft skills and how you communicate that, that's going to put you ahead of the game. That's going to make you stand out. This happened in October of 2023. And this is what they are saying the future looks like, hiring process for recruiters. Now, there's a lot more, and I'm going to share with you an article here, but I want to see what are y'all thinking? What are your thoughts? Any aha moments or any takeaways here? And we'll get into a few case studies of some companies that are already doing this. Any takeaways or aha moments or anything that you're thinking about watching these? Because they talk a lot about the soft skills. They talk about having an influx mindset, not a growth mindset or fixed mindset, being able to fluctuate. She just mentioned being agile, having agility. How do you convey that? How do you talk about your agility? Right? These are some of the things that you want to be mindful of and thinking about in 2024. And even if you're working now, maybe you don't want to make a move. Maybe you're doing, you love where you work and things are going the way that you want it to go. Are you picking up on some of those skills? One of the things I'm going to show you next is I see a lot of companies, from what I read, they're looking for leadership skills. They're looking for a lot of leaders. It's interesting to me because I hadn't seen this, but there seems to be a shift in the leadership roles, manager and leadership. That's what I'm seeing a lot of. So being able to convey that is important. Jay said, this is so true. I work for Wells Fargo in tech, and man, you have to be adaptable. Things are constantly changing. Sometimes I feel I'm working a new job. It changes so much. That's golden. Did y'all see? That's golden. This is it in a nutshell. And I'm sure a lot of you already experienced this. The changes are incredible, right? You have to be adaptable. Like she was just saying, you have to be agile. And I know we get so caught up, especially with resumes and things like that, and putting all of our work and our task and being very transactional. I'm telling you, it's not going to cut it in the future. You want to be able to convey the impact that you've been able to make. You want to be able to share the value and how, just like Jay Jennings is saying, how adaptable you are. Sandra was saying, I flew up here and I had to give a presentation here on the spot, right? She said, I didn't have to do that. Last week she was sharing with us, I had to present in front of everybody, and she did it. That's being flexible. And I know Sheila, she travels from here, and Sheila knows so much about probably all the healthcare. She gonna get me. All the healthcare. But she's so flexible, she can go in either way. Do you know how now that is value, you all? That's valuable. And all of us know a lot of different things. But I don't want us to get so caught up in what we did back here. That's what a resume does, you all. And a lot of people give decision makers and recruiters and hiring managers a history lesson about us. That's not what they're looking for. That's not what they're looking for. Let's look at this. Jackie said, this is encouraging info after a very difficult 2023 and ramping up for job search. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad it's encouraging, Jackie. Super glad. Sheila said, my current employer aligns adaptability with being able to work in ambiguity when you don't know what you don't know. And that could be challenging too, when you don't know. When you don't know, but there's so much change, you all. There's so much change that's happening in the economy, and it affects, y'all know how systems talk to each other? We should say that a lot in HR, like this system don't talk to this system, and this talk. The economy affects businesses, and then businesses affect us, and then it affects our life and our work life and our quality of life. Everything affects everything. Inflation, everything affects everything. And so businesses have to change, and they, from one moment to the next, have to change. And so when I'm sharing, like, listen to earnings calls, I know that's not fun. And even if you don't get it, get on and listen. You might learn something. When I'm telling you to go and Google and look up investor relations for your company, just put your company name and the word investors relations behind it. Look at some of those documents. Look at see how they're changing for 2024. Look and see what's coming down the pipe. When we kicked off this session, I said it's up to us and what happens. It's up to us. You have to do the research, and everything is a process. Let's look at these companies really quick. I just want to show you that some of them are already taking the leap. And it may be some companies that you may be interested in. Let me see. So this is still at Talent Connect. This is the same gentleman that we looked at earlier. And he's talking about some of the companies that they're working with that have adopted some of these things. And again, as you can see right here, it says the old playbooks won't work in this new world of work. They won't. And new playbooks will be needed regardless of your region or industry. So for us, regardless of the industry, new playbooks, they will be needed. And it says, while developing these contemporary playbooks won't necessarily be easy, they won't be impossible. He goes on to talk to AI. Let's look at this first company. It's called Genpact. Genpact leverages its skills graph to drive employee and company growth. Again, we're looking at new playbooks and what companies are doing as far as recruiters when it comes to the hiring process. Here's what they're doing. They're building talent systems and processes around skills. Is not easy, even if it's necessary. For starters, as Brian noted, What are the reliable signals that confirm a person has mastered a skill? Genpact is the global professional service. Their company is named after generating and the word impact, right? They've decided to tackle this issue themselves. They've built a skills graph that has 90 core skills and another 900 adjacent skills. And so what they do, they just use this to project out skill gaps that are coming. So they're looking to the future and they fold this back into their hiring plan. So what skills do we need in 2026? Here's the skills that we're going to need in 2026. So they're building out this skills graph to determine the skills that they need to start thinking about bringing on as part of their hiring plan. That's Genpact. Siemens, we've all heard of Siemens. They built a platform that makes personalized learning recommendations. I like this actually, to employees based on identified skill gaps. Let me say that again. They've built a personalized learning recommendation platform for their employees based on skill gaps. So if Clifford has a skill gap in a certain area, there's a platform that will say, you know, we don't want to get rid of him. Here's the gaps that he has. Here's how we're going to help him attain these skills. And it says when you're as big and as old as Siemens, it's easy to get stagnant. Not so, it says at Siemens. Last year, Ryan said to build more agility into their workforce, they started acting as a skills-first company, bringing skills to the center of their internal learning platform. Again, they're already thinking about this. Everybody knows about Siemens. IBM did the same thing. They've launched a successful apprenticeship program centered on learning courses and on-the-job training. I believe most companies, a lot, I'll say, a lot of companies will tap into their internal employees as well. And again, look at skill gaps. Remember, we talked about high potential, you all? I think that's where they'll start. And this is me talking. I think that's where they will start and see who has the capacity, right, to obtain the skills, because you could be a person that has the ability, but you have to have the capacity to be able to learn the skills and then put them into practice. And so with this apprenticeship program with IBM to develop the skills that were essential for future roles at the company, you see the theme here? They're creating programs for the future all around skills. And the last one, in the interest of time, Canva has rethought how HR functions. Perhaps it's not surprising that Canva, the Australian software company that promotes unbridled creativity with its suite of design products, should be at the forefront of redesigning HR. They started by writing new playbooks and embracing the need to adapt and tearing down historical HR silos. I love it. I love it. I love it. As you can see right here, right, we talk about it, internal mobility, a contingent workforce, so contractors, right, talent programs, and workforce planning. And they call all of this together talent agility. We were just talking about agility. Here's final thoughts, you all. These 4 companies are not done rewriting their playbook. In fact, they're just getting started, but they have already seen impressive results and have become better positioned to keep moving forward successfully. I don't think anyone can say they have it all figured out, but the companies and teams and leaders who will succeed most in the coming years are those that are starting to figure it out right now. And I want you to adopt this for yourself. Nobody has it all figured out. But those that will succeed in the coming years are those that are starting to figure it out right now. How we feel about it, you all? Hey, Susie Q. How we feel about it? This is the recruiter's playbook. So they're starting to have these conversations with recruiters, thinking about skills. And if we had time, I would go through and show you on the back end of LinkedIn, there's something called LinkedIn Recruiter, and how now they use AI to just say, give me this person with this skill, not a title, y'all. Not a title. Give me this. I'm looking for this person with these skills. And AI goes, Oh, I see this person. I see Sandra. I see Loretta. I see Sheila. I see Clifford. I see Derek. I see these people have that skills. Y'all remember about a year ago, we went through this and we walked through step by step. We walked through LinkedIn profile, and I told you all to go to the section that says skills. And I said, go ahead and take that assessment. Take that skills assessment and put it on there. Remember I said that? Remember I said to put your top 3 to 5 skills, put it at the top because it's going to be weighted heavily. Remember those conversations? It's starting to show up now. But you all should already have all of this done because we talked about this early on. What do we think about it, y'all? LaShawn said very informative. I'm glad it was informative. Did we learn anything? Was this helpful? Or was I just talking? Did I get fired up? I wanted to kick off our 2024 being future focused, you all, and being focused on executing. Let's not spend our time scrolling and looking at everybody else putting money up to their ear and doing all the things. Let's focus on ourselves. Let's create what we want for ourselves. It's an election year next year. We don't know what's coming or what's going to leave. We have to be, we talked about monk mode early on. We have to be hyper focused. We have to be laser focused on ourselves and our loved ones and our families. If you need to get things updated and modernized and whatever the case, they talked about portfolios. Y'all, we've been talked about that. It's a whole session on that. You can look in the YouTube channel or inside the Facebook group. We did a whole, didn't we, y'all? We did a whole session on that. There's no reason anybody in here should not be already ahead of the game. There's no reason. Now, some of you are thinking, in, like I mentioned earlier, 2024, that, you know what, it's time for me to make a move. I'm happy to, if you want to talk about it, if you want to come up with a plan, I'm happy to talk with you about it. You can go to iamkellyjackson.com. We'll collaborate together. Don't worry. It's a partnership. It's a partnership. And some people are curious and not serious, and that's okay. Timing may be off for you. But for some, it's priority. It's priority because it's January 2nd. And by this time, December 2nd, your life could potentially look a lot different. But it's about executing. It's about implementing. It's about taking action. All right? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad it's helpful, y'all. I'm so glad it's helpful. And y'all know I see it, and I know, you know, I know we can get real lackadaisical. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. And I know we can just continue to go, but when it hits, it's going, for some, it's just not going to be a good thing. So don't wait. It's January 2nd. In a few hours, it's going to be January 3rd. In a few months, it's going to be March. And then it's going to be, we're going to be celebrating Christmas again. Y'all know how fast stuff go. If you want your life to look different, you got to take action and not just consume information. I'm going to keep saying it because I know we're in the age of consumer. We just consume. We consume. And nobody's going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that because they want you to consume stuff. Right now, the currency isn't money, it's attention. People want you to consume and watch them dance and watch them do this. They're not going to tell you this. They want you to sit and watch. I'm telling you this because I care about you and I don't want you to be left behind, but it will happen. It will happen. If you do not take action, if you're not in a position, some of you are, but if you're not, start positioning yourself. You don't have to do nothing with me. You do this on your own. Start positioning yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, because it looks different for everybody. It don't necessarily have to be a whole bunch of money. It doesn't have to be that. But some of us have aging parents and people that are dependent upon us. And we have to be in position. Some people look to us. Some people have no other choice but to come to us. So some of us are carrying a lot of weight. And we have to be the ones to stand up tall, 10 toes down, like they say. And we have to take action because we know nobody else in our family is going to do it or nobody else around us are going to do it. And we really can't. We come here because nobody really gets us, right? We're an odd bunch, right? We talk about this corporate stuff, but we really don't have anybody to really talk to us and that gets us. But that's all right. It's all good. We get each other. But people aren't going to tell you to go out and do things for yourself. They're going to tell you, but they're not going to tell you the intricate details of what it takes. It takes you becoming the person first. I'm telling you what the recipe is. I'm telling you because I've been through it. Everything I wanted and what I thought I should have right now, and why is it taking so long, and why am I drained, and I don't understand, and I'm overwhelmed, and I'm frustrated, and even Sean, bless her heart, said I'm scattered. I love that. The transparency, y'all, it will help you become the person first, whatever that takes, whatever that is. For some of us, we need to get healthy. And it seems simple and it may not seem like something, but this food, I'm telling you, sometimes it shut us down. And we got in our mind, I need to do that. Oh gosh, I need to get up and do that. I know I need to do this. I need to work on that doggone resume. Or I need to go ahead and talk to my man. I know I do. But different things will weigh us down and it don't have. We know what we should do, but our body just don't do it. We know in our head. But some of us don't even take control of our body and put it under subjection and say, you're going to do this. You're going to go for a walk. You're going to do this in 2024. I don't care if you're tired, you're getting up and you're doing. We got to talk to our bodies like that. It's that serious, y'all. It's that serious. All right. That's all I got, y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got. It's a new year. I want the best for everybody, I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you're carrying. I'm carrying a lot. So I'm just, y'all are like me. We are a lot alike because I can tell, I can feel y'all. And I know some of us want to do businesses. Some of us want to, take care of our kids. Some of us want to guide our families. Some of us, like I said, have, people that are dependent upon us, parents that are aging, and we just want to make sure we're healthy and we're around. We got to eat right. We don't want to. I know y'all. I love my chocolate chip cookies. I know, but everybody depend on me. So I can't do those things and I'm okay. I can take it. And a lot of y'all are just like me. We got to take care. Some of the fellas in here got the whole family. Don't have anyone to talk to. And you're in a silo and you got all these things in your head. I get it. I know. But we got to buckle down and we really got to get laser focused. I'm not saying not have fun. I'm not saying that. But you will look like your decisions, not like your mom and dad, but you will look like your decisions. When it's all said and done, that's exactly what you're going to look like. Let's make some good decisions in 2024. I love y'all. Hope this was helpful. I'll see you next week. Bye. Hit that like button if y'all like this. Bye, y'all. You're welcome, hon. You're welcome.